we look across the Ishmian League and the Southern Central and all the drama that comes in between. A bit to cover once again this week, where it's managerial change for both St Albans and Kettering. Title favourites in the Ishmian, Folkestone, fall into their first defeat in the league against relegation candidates #United. And is anyone going to keep up and get in between Harbour Town and Spalding United in the Southern Central? As always, to cover the drama at Step 3, I'm joined by Zach. Zach, how are you today, mate?
I mean, definitely feel a bit different to last time with obviously what's gone on out of absolutely nowhere. But yeah,
I was going to
nothing
say
nice.
it's been an eventful couple of weeks for you, hasn't it, mate? I mean,
100%. 100%.
you
Last time
know,
we were on a high, looking forward to the FA Cup. I think it was only a few hours later, a couple of days later.
it
Oh
all gets turned
gosh,
on its head. I mean, that is the glory of football and glory of Step 3 and non-league as well, isn't it? It just changes in a
yeah,
heartbeat. And
yeah.
let's waste no time then, mate, and getting in to talk about it. And I mean, let's start then, shall we? Because obviously we normally do like we did last time out. We normally do our Kettering and St Albans stuff at the end, but it's only fitting, isn't it, that we do it at the start again this week purely
Yeah.
because of everything that's gone on at St Albans. So I'll let you take it away first, then, mate, to just go over what's happened in the last couple of weeks.
Well, obviously we had our FA Trophy game against Hanwell. We put out a rotated side, lost 2-0. From all accounts, we were dreadful. Um, then on Sunday morning, I remember seeing a few tweets from Kings Lynn fans of just pictures of Culverhouse, and I was like, is something going on there? And yeah, come Wednesday, got a few heard the rumour about a bit more from a few St Albans fans. Then yeah, 6 o'clock announced they've gone to Kings Lynn, which yeah, out of absolutely nowhere. But I think, given the bigger budget, full time status of Kings Lynn,
Mm.
I think they just took it based on that. I think a bit annoying it was before the Burton game, but can't really blame them at the end of the day. I
No,
think,
100%.
I think we'll be given much more of a backing at Kings Lynn than they had at St Albans.
No, definitely. I mean, it's obviously something we spoke about a little bit last time. I think it was that if Cleverhouse was to jump, you'd kind of only leave for a project that had obviously financial backing and
Yeah,
you know more resources to him really, because it's something where when he was at Kettering, he went to Boston where they gave him all the resources and so forth. So like you say, you can't really blame him for leaving, can you, as such? But to leave right before an FA Cup game, a
yeah,
big FA Cup game, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, isn't it?
100%. Like, I think we would have had a better chance against Burton with him in charge. I think he would have
Mm.
known what to do, how to set up, had the experience. So yeah, that was a bit annoying, especially with Pat Bastock leaving as well. Obviously, club legend, 350 games. I think he sort of tainted that sort of reputation
Yeah.
in some ways with some fans. For me, I don't really care that much about it. I think anyone would take that job. Like, got to
Mm.
think on a personal level, it's money, it's his living. So yeah.
No, 100%. I mean, on the manager front, then, mate, what's it look like? How's it going at the moment? Is there names that you'd want? Is there names that the club have been linked to, and going
Well,
forward?
Boswick's currently interim. Not sure how long that will go on for the interim period. There's some rumours about Gavin McPherson from Enfield. I'd love him. Like, that's a dream candidate. It would be a shock to see if the club pull that off. But if we pull it off, like, hats off to everyone at the club. I would quite like Ahmet Rifat from Wingate. He's someone I've banged on about for years. Came in at Wingate as manager. He was player there for years. Then came in as manager, kept them up, got them to the playoff final, got them mid-table last season, doing well again this year. All on basically the smallest budget in the league.
Mm.
So I'd love him in, or even Gary McCann, who was at Billericay, at Hampton before that, at Hendon before that, has always done well. Plays a bit of ugly football, but gets results driven through. So yeah,
Yeah, and it's something where if you get the appointment right, you can go on a run, can't you? Because we're only
yeah,
in November, and you're not, you don't find yourselves a million miles away from it at the moment. But it's a league where you go on a 3, 4 games unbeaten, and your season's turned around, isn't it?
100%. Well, right now we're only 7 points off playoffs with 2 games in hand. So obviously, very much still in it. long way to go. Squad's looking better with recent signings as well, with Mariappa.
Mm.
As Mariappa was a massive signing, obviously played in the FA Cup final only 6-7 years ago. So yeah,
No, it's much needed as well. I mean, is there anything else you want to touch on quickly before we go into some other Ishmian stuff then?
not really. No, ready to jump into the Isthmian now.
Perfect. So I said in the introduction there, didn't I, about Folkestone losing to hashtag. I mean, how much do you read into that game then in particular? Because it is worth saying they bounced back and beat Billericay and beat
Yeah,
Welling after that. And, it shows that they probably got blips in them in this league, doesn't it? But do you read much into that hashtag game?
no, absolutely not. I think every good side will lose the odd game
Yeah.
against lesser side. Like it will happen time and time again. And yeah, I think Folkestone are now still going to go win the league, 100%. I think Brentwood now slipping up a little bit with two sort of shock losses. So I think it's Folkestone's league to win now.
No, definitely. I mean, elsewhere then, mate, what's really been the topic of discussion across the Ishmian?
Well, I think Brentwood losing two in a row to 5-0 to Wingate and was it 2 or 3-1 to Whitehawk? So I think those were two sort of big losses for Brentwood. It'll be interesting to see what happens with them now. It'll be interesting because they've got a small squad. It'll be interesting through the
Yeah.
Christmas period whether they can keep up. Aveley are on an absolute run at the moment. Like they've got themselves into the playoff positions. Zudu Suleiman, hope I've said that right. He's scoring for fun at the moment. Uh, Dulwich still winless in what feels like forever, but they're still, thanks for such a good start to the season, they're still only 2 points off playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's ridiculous. Chatham has come out that Sam Sene Richardson, who I've been a massive fan of. EFL clubs are apparently looking at him at the moment, which doesn't surprise me. He's 18 and one of the
Yeah.
best players in the league, so he'll be going. Welling as well. Welling at the moment still struggling massively. Stringer has come in as interim, hasn't been able to save them. It hasn't been pretty football. They've just put out that the manager search has just started, so
Mm.
it'll be interesting what happens there. Then Potter's Bar have brought in Sammy Moore as manager, who's an interesting character. Be interesting to see what he does there. Will definitely, I think, spend a bit of money. He always
Mm.
tends to, and he always brings in some rough characters who will be bullies on the pitches, on
Yeah.
the pitch, cause issues. That's
No.
sort of the main roundup so far of what's happened in the Isthmian.
No, yeah. I mean, a team that I mean, you mentioned them there as well. A team that I obviously picked out from over the last couple of weeks was Aveley, and I think it's worth a mention. But you look at some of the results at the start of the season; it wasn't a slow start as such, but
Yeah,
they had a couple of blips in there. But their last 5 games, they've won their last 4, and taken advantage of what has probably been a little bit of a favourable run as well to match that that run of formula. They've beaten the likes of Cray Valley, Ramsgate, Potter's Bar. Who are all down there. A Dulwich side, like we said, have maybe fallen off a little bit in recent weeks, and a Lewis side who have slipped up as well. So take nothing away from them in that respect, but they find themselves really, really within a good chance at the moment. And like I said a minute ago about St Albans, you find yourself after 3-4 games, your season's turned around, hasn't it? And
yeah,
Avon now looking up rather than
yeah,
looking down a little bit. And with games against Whitehawk, Carlton, and Wingate coming up, it's probably a good chance to keep momentum up as well, isn't it, Zach?
yeah, 100%. I think if they win through the next 2 or 3, I think they'll be right in the playoff picture, very much in it. So not going to be a very tight playoff race because you've
Mm.
already got Brentwood, Folkestone, Chatham, Dartford, Aveley. If Dulwich I think looking at it, have the quality too, but they're so just inconsistent. I can see them going on a 10-game
Mm.
winning run, then a 10-game losing run again. Then Billericay, I think, will continue to pick up form as the season goes on. St Albans, hopefully. So yeah, it's going to be a very tight picture towards the top.
No, 100%. And I mean, looking down towards the bottom end, obviously I picked up Potter's Bar as well. They're spiralling at the moment a little bit, but I want to play devil's advocate just a little bit. And I say it every couple of weeks. I mean, could Canvey get out of it? Because 4 games, without a loss, and
Yeah,
they're slowly chipping away. I mean, is it still a no?
I don't know. Ask me again next time. I don't want to put my eggs in the relegation basket just yet.
No,
Especially they brought
fair.
in Gary Kimball as manager over the last couple of weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. But I still maintain I don't think their squad's anywhere near good enough.
No, and that's completely fair because you look at it still, they still have only scored 12 goals this season in 13
Yeah,
games, which is far from good enough. Another team that's spiraling a little bit, obviously, is Ramsgate themselves, who are on an awful run, aren't they? I mean,
yeah,
what could be the fall in, away from that? Because you look on the flip side again, they were only a couple of back in September into October time, they were 4-5 on the bounce without a loss,
yeah.
and now they're 4-5 on the bounce without a win.
Yeah, I think the issue with them is they're conceding those. They've already conceded 35 and 15,
Mm.
which is worrying. But also they're scoring, they've got 26 and 15. So for them, I think it's just about tightening up at the back and just trying to get that solidity at the back. So going to be interesting for them. I think Ramsgate will pull through and stay up. I think they've got the money and the squad to. And if they
Yeah.
can get Joe Taylor to start scoring a bit more, I think they'll stay up.
No, most definitely. Is there anything else then, mate, you wanna touch on before we move to the Southern Central?
Wingate as well. I think they're 5 games unbeaten. I think they've finally hit. I've always said with Armet in charge, they'll hit their form at some point. They just had to do a massive rebuild over summer. And Billericay as well. I think hope they start hitting form because their squad should not be 12.
No,
So yeah, I think that's it
no,
now.
100% not. Yeah, in terms of moving on to Southern Central, then, mate. I mentioned last week we had no representatives in the FA Cup or the FA Trophy. Oh well, we had a couple in the FA
Mm.
Trophy, sorry, but none in the FA Cup. But in terms of the league, there's three teams I wanted to highlight from the last couple of weeks. Now, the first one being Sudbury, because when we spoke with Isaac a few weeks ago, he was obviously crying out for someone to come in and score goals, a goal scorer they needed in the club. That's still not been the case. They're looking like, sadly, a one-way train to step four at the moment because they can't score goals. They've got just 9 in the league this season. But the bigger worry now is the defence because 33 goals conceded in 13 games. That's on average like what 2.5 goals a game or something like that. They're conceding goals at, quite frankly, relegation threatened form. And if I was a Sudbury fan, I'd be massively preparing for step four, if I'm honest, if I hadn't already. And to add pain to injury, really, I think it was last night. We're recording this on a Thursday, so last night on Wednesday, the club released a statement expressing their financial struggles, and it really is the dark reality of non-league, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, if it was a grim sort of statement about overspending in recent years from certain managers,
Hmm.
and now they're just in a bit of a state. I think they will go down. Like, if you don't have the money to strengthen, they're just going to have to sort of bite the bullet this season, go down, and just have a massive rebuild across the
No,
whole
hundred
club
percent.
next summer. So it is sad for them, but they need it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably just need the season's end as soon as possible.
No, definitely. In terms of league form, they're well off it, and they are, like I said, on that way down to step four. But they're still in the FA Trophy, so they've got that little bit of something to cling on to at least for the
Yeah,
fans this season. Because I think they've got Hereford at home in the next round, which could be
yeah.
quite an interesting tie for them.
It also give
But
them
in
a good
terms of
probably
league form, it's just
financial boost as well, which they'll
yeah.
probably need as well. So that could give them a little boost, maybe.
No, exactly, and they'll definitely need it. Another team that I looked at was Corn because they've come back with a bang recently. I mean, they had a little slight dip, losing to relegation fodder in like Royston and Barwell earlier in the season, but they've come out flying once more against some of the top sides. Sorry, in the league. Um, they may have crashed out of both cups recently, but they've picked up points against Spalding, Overchurch, Hales Owen, Bishop Stortford. All those teams have been in and around the playoff picture at some point this season. And with Corn, they are now just they're third, sorry,
Yeah,
and just 3 points back from Spalding. And again, I think it shows people who maybe sent them to go down or predict them to go down look a little bit silly, if I'm honest, because I never thought that the team would do that. You can't write out a team that got 100 points and won the league by January sort of time,
yeah,
and we're on the
100%.
beach. And Corner looking to really build that momentum now, and they're looking seriously impressive, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. They're getting goals. They're not conceding many. They're just a very solid side. Only 3 losses in 14 as well, so
Mm.
not even that bad, I think. they could easily get playoffs. I don't think they'll challenge for a title. I think Spalding and Harbour will be in a league of
Yeah.
their own come end of the season, but Corn very much could be in the best of the rest category.
No, 100%. And finally, a team I wanted to quickly touch on as well was Hales Owen, because it was a bleak run of form for them before they, in recent weeks, before the turnaround. And, they find themselves in sixth, just shy of Real Bedford. 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss in their last 5 is much better form from what they were previously on. And a big part of that is Jason Cowley in recent weeks has shot up the scoring charts. He's now joint with Sabuski and Roberts from Spalding, who are on 9 apiece as well. And Hales Owen, like you said, could be in and around it with Corn as one of those better teams of the rest away from Spalding and Harbour. So I think Hales Owen could be a team to watch over the next couple of weeks as the playoff race hots up a little bit. Zach, has anything else caught your eye at all in the Southern Central?
Well, I think Real Bedford just keep on just getting results now. I think
Yeah, they do.
brought in Rio Deal, who player we very much like. We've spoken about off air a lot. Craig King in goal adds experience, adds challenge to McGregor. And I think, if any team was going to catch up to Spalding and Harbour right now, I would put my money on Real Bedford. But even then, I don't think they will. I think they'll be in the third, fourth category, very much winning playoffs. But yeah, Sinclair's very much got it spot on.
No, exactly. I mean, what a turnaround it's been for them. Since I'm trying to look back at their last loss, which was Redditch, and then since then it's just been an amazing run, to be fair. Still in the FA Trophy as well, who I think they've got Alvechurch, if I'm right, next. I think they've got, so that could be tough for them. But in terms of league form, Real Bedford are still just storming away, really, aren't they? In terms of a couple of other teams, then to just quickly shout about, I mean, Royston are still massively struggling as well. I mean, their last win was quite ironically was against Corn back in September, but that's another team that a lot of people had not challenging playoffs as such, but mid-table, and it's not clicking for them either, is it?
Yeah, it shocks me. I thought they'd pick up at some point, but they just haven't. I think it's one of those where it's probably the manager and they probably need to change. 1 win in 14 is absolutely horrendous. So yeah, they all need to sort something ASAP.
No, definitely. And Spalding versus Harbour, we've said it already. They're in a league of their own, mate. I'll be honest. I mean, Harbour in particular, 21 goals, 5 goals conceded. They've got 2 games in hand on Spalding, and they're 2 points behind. They are probably still the favourites, I'd say. But if they remain in the cup competitions, especially the FA Trophy, because Spalding are out of that now, if they remain in that and go deep in that, they could possibly have some squad issues, but I don't think they will because their squad's really, really good, really, really deep. And would you say that you put them in the bracket? I mean, you look at them from the Southern Central, Spalding and Harbour. You look at the likes of Folkestone from the Ishmian as well. I mean, out of all these 3 teams, really, they're looking really well poised to go up and stay up possibly if they get up to the National League systems.
100%. Like, I think all 3 of them would put up a fight in the National League. I think Harbour and Spalding just seem like National League North sides. Like, at Spalding's starting 11, it's just like every single player in that squad would walk into this St Albans squad. That's meant to be one of our most expensive squads ever. But yeah, I think 2 very good sides. Like, I bang on about Alfie Bender at Spalding. I think he's an unsung hero there. He's just such a fantastic player. Will run up and down the pitch in midfield for 90 minutes. I think Harbour, haven't seen them as much, but conceding 5 goals in 12 is just a ridiculous stat.
Yeah.
Like, this could be one of the best title races in years, I think, between them 2.
No,
And
definitely. It could do. It really could go right to the wire because they are just going to go toe for toe. I'm going to have a quick look now to quickly see when they play each other because that will be, it's got to be coming up soon. So you're looking at 2026 will be the next one. So the 10th of January is the next time they play each other. I mean, all eyes will be on that, really. Before we talk about the FA Cup then and touch on what happened over the weekend, let's look at some upcoming matches just very, very quickly across both leagues. And for me, the standouts in the Southern, I'm looking at Sudbury versus Barwell because that's a real relegation 6-pointer. I'm looking at Corn versus Kettering because Corn are obviously on good form and Kettering have got a new manager bounce, possibly with Liam McDonald. I'll talk more about that later on. and Needham Market versus Redditch, two teams battling for playoff spots. Is there anything in the Ishmian, mate, that stands out over the next weekend or so?
Well, I think Dulwich versus St Albans. I think, can Dulwich finally end their rut? Will St Albans have a new gaffer in charge? Well, yeah, that will be a very interesting one. See how we line up. Obviously, some new signings, first appearances in the league. Potters Bar Folkestone. I think that's going to be an interesting game with Sammy Moore's first game back in charge at Potters Bar. Folkestone, obviously, will be absolute favourites going into that. Dartford versus Wingate. Dartford very much back in the playoff picture. Wingate flying at the moment, so that's going to be a very tight game. So they're sort of the highlights on Saturday. Then going on to Tuesday, St Albans versus Brentwood. We've got two very tough games. I think, yeah, I don't fancy us against Brentwood, but who knows with us at the moment. What other ones? Billericay Dartford, Tuesday night, derby match. Very much two teams who went to the wire last year against each other and both ended up missing out on the title somehow. But yeah, that's going to be an absolutely insane game, I think. That's actually going to be one I'm probably going to be keeping my eye on the most next Tuesday.
I mean, that will probably be the one I'd be keeping the eye on across both leagues, to be honest. Looking at the first round then, mate, of the FA Cup, because there was some cracking games, weren't there, over the weekend, some cracking ties. And let's talk about just quickly, on St Albans versus Burton, because you're obviously there. I mean, what was the day like before, obviously, the inevitable smashing that did happen?
Yeah, it was a very good day, to be fair. I was suffering from a crippling hangover, but it was a very good day out. I think we took close to 1,000, which was fantastic atmosphere. Obviously, our mascot was the highlight of the day, stumbling around. So that was fantastic. But the match itself went 1-0 down in the first minute. Then the rest of the first half, we actually bossed them. We probably should have gone in. We took our chances 2 or 3-1 up. Then into the second half, first minute of the second half, we hit the crossbar. Then they go up and score. Then we just collapse from there and lose 6-0, which 6-0 scoreline I think flatters, but I think it's a fair result. Probably would have been 2 or 3-0, but yeah,
it's what happens though, isn't it? When you go up against these EFL teams and they go two goals clear perhaps, and like the fitness aspect starts to show. And I remember when we played Donny at Latham Park season in round 2, and like when it went to extra time, Kettering players were just dead on their feet.
Yeah, and we just didn't have the players coming off the bench that they had.
No, exactly.
We had kids coming on, and they had seasoned EFL players.
No, exactly. So, there's always next year, mate. I mean, you can join us now in sitting back and watching the rest of the FA Cup unfold. But, you also had across other fixtures as well. You had Chatham obviously coming close to beating Buxton, who, they fell short in extra time, and it also cost Mayaka. So that's always a positive. But, what other games stood out for you, mate?
Well, on the train down to Burton, I watched the Chelmsford Braintree game. Chelmsford thumping Braintree. I just don't like Braintree, so I absolutely loved the Chelmsford result. Enjoyed every minute of it. Delight for everyone at Chelmsford, and a good second round draw against Slough. So we're going to get a step 2 side no matter what in the third round. What other ones were there? I'm trying to think now. Slough beating Altrincham. That was a good result. Yeah. Very good result. I'm looking through now. Western beating Aldershot. That's a bit of an upset. Also, Hemel getting so close to beating.
I know, it was agonising, wasn't it?
Even as a rival fan of Hemel, even I felt the heartbreak there. Should have got through. Then also the inevitable Malden Tiptree getting thumped. When we went 1-0 up, I was like,
the dream was well and truly alive.
The brief 1 minute, I thought, they're going to go do it, but it didn't happen.
It just collapsed. No, I mean, it was always going to happen, wasn't it? There was that slight inkling that it could have happened, and then they scored early, and you're like, "Fuck me, this could happen." But no, they were put to the sword in the end. I mean, there was a couple of other the Chelmsford one versus Braintree. I remember I was watching that one on the afternoon, and that was just quality, that game. And I mean, a very good derby and a very good advocate for non-league football, I think, as well. You also had Macclesfield versus Totton, which finished 6-3 to Macclesfield. You had Boreham Wood knocking out Crawley. And you had Brackley coming from behind to knock out Notts County as well. So, I mean, there was some massive upsets and some really good ties. But you look at round two, Zach, and I must say, I think, the top ties as such are a little bit few and far between, in my opinion, because, there's how do I word it, but a lot of the league clubs are playing each other and so forth. But like you mentioned, there is a really good opportunity for some of these non-league sides to go on and make round three, isn't there? Because they're playing each other.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't Chelsea Slough, it was Chelmsford Western who have each other.
Yeah.
So, going to be step two side no matter what. Who did Slough? Oh, yeah, Slough got Macclesfield. So, yeah, that's yet again two step two clubs guaranteed in the third round. Sutton Shrewsbury, could see Sutton causing an upset there. Bournemouth Newport, hate to it, but I think Bournemouth might have another fifth round FA Cup run. I can't stand if it happens again. I'll have to go off Twitter for 6 months. It's football at the end of the day. But they're sort of the main non-league ties there.
No, definitely. I mean, I also picked out Boreham Woods to probably beat Newport. I think they just got past Gillingham, Newport last time, but they're struggling in League Two massively struggling in League Two. So I think Boreham Wood at home as well. Yeah. I mean, Brackley at home to Burton as well could be tasty.
Yeah, I can see that. Bit of a derby.
Yeah, so you never know really with these non-league teams, but I think the likes of Slough going up against Macclesfield, Chelmsford versus Western, like I said, it gives them a really good opportunity. You don't get the glamour ties like Wigan, Barnsley, Luton, Bolton, those sort of teams at this stage, but you have a really good chance of getting through and making a Premier League outfit, don't you?
100%. It's what everyone dreams of. Like, if any of them four could get a top six club in the next round, that would be their money sorted for the next 3 years. So.
No, exactly. I mean, you look at these non-league teams as well. You said that you feel that Boreham Wood may go on a little run now, but is there anyone that you're maybe looking at as the underdog? The non-league team to go far this year?
I think Chelmsford. Because as a full-time side, you feel the effects less when playing against these full-time like EFL side. So I think Chelmsford might go on a good run. Slough always seems to do well in the FA Cup with Scott Davis in charge. So I think, and maybe Sutton as well, because Chris Gutter came in as manager last month and has just got them ticking, got them playing good football. So yeah.
No, I agree. I think I'd probably lean towards Chelmsford, and I'd probably even look if Western-super-Mare were to get out, because they're having a good season themselves. If I just quickly have a look, they're second in National League South, so they're having a good season themselves. But I think Chelmsford, with the home aspect, I think they probably just got a little bit more quality in their squad, even if the league position doesn't show it as much. But I think if Chelmsford could be the non-league story this season. I also want to very, very quickly touch on the FA Trophy, because we did have a couple of shocks in place in that one. And I think the one I really wanted to touch on was Corby beating Spalding United, who obviously, like we've mentioned, Spalding are in a league of their own with Harbour in the Southern Central. But it's a massive result for Corby, who have already knocked out Corn in this competition. They've gone to Spalding and knocked out Spalding. And they've got what is a brilliant away day against National League North Kidderminster, haven't they? So, I mean, all credit to them, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. That's what I really like about the FA Trophy. It's like these small sides can go far and get really good draws against Kidderminster. Like, Kidderminster, although they're National League North, they're basically a National League size club. Yeah. It'll be a fantastic day out for the Corby fans.
100%. I mean, I look elsewhere as well. I mean, Bishop Stortford. Yeah, I mean, they're smashing Billericay. What do you make of that one?
Shock result. If anything, I was more expecting it to be the other way around, I think. But I think that's very much a wake-up for the management team at Billericay. I think since seeing their results since, I think some changes have happened, and I think they're ticking along now. It's the wake-up call they needed.
No, 100%. And obviously, like I said a little bit earlier in the episode, Sudbury found their way through for all their trebles that they're having in the league and off the pitch. They're in round 2 against Hereford, so it could be a little light at the end of the tunnel for Sudbury, perhaps. I mean, looking towards the next round, then obviously you see the National League South and National League North clubs come into play a little bit. And what sort of ties, if you have had a look at them, Zach,
Just getting a lot now.
stand out for you? Because obviously I've mentioned Kidderminster Corby there. I look at potentially Horsham versus Farnham as a good tie, Brentwood versus Hornchurch, and probably Dagenham and Redbridge versus Tilbury as well.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with all of them. Quite like the look of Hemel versus Chelmsford.
Mm.
That's going to be a very good game. Both two teams flying in the south. Uh, what other ones are there? Slough versus Gloucester. Gloucester flying in the southern south. Slough, well, obviously flying in the FA Cup, but league struggling. Walton and Hersham versus Farnborough. Farnborough,
Mm.
I watched their game against Torquay last night briefly. Farnborough are dreadful. There's no way about it. Also, they blocked me on Twitter, so a bit of extra
A bit of
hate
rage,
there.
yeah.
Walton and Hersham are flying in the southern south, so
Yeah,
I could see upset there. So, yeah, they're sort of the main ones there. And
no,
also Brentwood versus Hornchurch,
yeah.
top of the Isthmian versus top of the National League South. So I think that could be a very good game to watch.
It'd be a nice place to see where Brentwood are, isn't it? Because obviously we've
Yeah,
seen them in recent weeks, like you say, kind of slip a little bit. And at one point they were looking like they were going to go toe to toe with Folkestone. So it'd be interesting to see where they are because Hornchurch have obviously gone to that division and they've blown it apart a little bit so far this season. Um, yeah, I mean, I look at some of those ties as well, and I think there's a couple of shocks in there. I think Tilbury versus Dagenham because Dagenham, I'm not impressed with them this season at all. Um, so could there be an upset in that one? And I'm so on this Corby hype train now, which as a Kettering fan I shouldn't be saying because it's only a couple miles down the road. But my sister's born in Corby, so we'll just use that as an excuse for being on the hype train. I mean, let's round it off then, mate, as we always do with some St Albans and Kettering talk. But like we said, you covered St Albans a little bit earlier in the episode, but I want to just bring it back to it just quickly as well. I mean, over the last few weeks, the club have obviously changed massively and whatnot. But on the pitch, you've seen a couple of players join. Is there still room for for people to come in? What other positions you'd like to sign, etc.?
we've brought in a lone centre forward from Arsenal, but he is just 18 and it's month loan. I'd like to see us bring probably a bigger name centre
Mm,
forward. Not sure who, but I'd take anyone with a bit of experience up front, and that's all I think we really need now because the defence looks good once everyone's back fit. Midfield looks good. I wouldn't mind an extra midfielder if that was available, but we don't necessarily need it.
yeah.
And yeah, I think we need a centre forward. And yeah,
And obviously, like I said, you've joined us in being out of both cups. You went a little bit further than us, but that's, we'll leave that. But is it
yeah.
potentially a little bit of a blessing in disguise because of,
Oh,
the injuries that you've
100%.
had, the squad depth, etc., and the true aims of getting back to step two?
Yeah. It gives us just a bit of breathing room now, just a bit of time to focus on the league. Obviously, we've still got county cups and the league
Yeah.
cup. I'd just say send our under 23s to play in them. Doesn't really matter. And yeah, just focus on the league now.
Yeah, that's fair. And is there anything else you want to touch on then before I talk on Kettering?
No, not really. I just think this is a good time for a club to reset. I think if I had it my way, I'd probably get rid of the director of football because I just don't see the point. Since he's come in, we bottled playoffs, got relegated, and now averaging the Isthmian. I think it's time probably to move on from Wheeler as director of football.
Probably
I know
a
I know
fresh.
quite a lot of fans don't like him. I know Wheeler and a certain fan, Aaron Livo, had a bit of a disagreement and death nothing there, but it's just a football club at the moment. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's probably a good place, like you say, then to have a fresh start, a reset
yeah,
almost, and
yeah,
and go again, and hopefully still maybe get into the playoffs this season.
yeah.
I'll touch on Kettering there because I don't think I obviously had a massive rant last time, but I don't think there's too much to report on this time really. Excuse me, but obviously we have a new manager now following Simon Hollyhead's resignation. That was Liam McDonald. Now, there was other names flying about, ex-Kettering managers. Richard Lavery obviously was thrown about. Paul Cox was thrown about. No one really wanted them two to come back. Even through the success that we had under the lads last season, I think everyone just wanted a fresh face in the club. And Liam has ultimately had success in previous years. He got Rushall out of this division and promoted to the National League North. He's had relatively good spells at Stourbridge before. And I think the big thing that I saw in his first interview last week was, and it was apparent to me, is that he's going to make his mark on this team one way or another at whatever cost, whether that's, but in, maybe one day down the road, you could see butting heads maybe between him and the director, because he seems like a very firm man who's going to want and go and make his own signings, and he's already done that already, bringing in someone from Stourbridge already, Blaine Rowe, who's a decent fullback for the level and was straight into the starting lineup. But I think the club needs to go out. I think they'll still make signings. There's not been too much rumours over the last week, but I think Liam's obviously been assessing his squad. Even we had a County Cup game on Tuesday night, and we went full strength in that one. Which you probably wouldn't expect in the County Cup games, but it was a good opportunity for him to see where the squad was at. I think we won 3-0 it was. So he'll know what he wants, and I think the big thing that he needs to go and get, in my opinion, is a number 9 to replace Niall Ranger and Loza, who have obviously gone off to Prison FC and Wellingborough Town. But you look at someone like Callum Powell, who has played in the number 9 role this season, but he's better in the number 10. He's better out wide. So you need an out-and-out number 9. I haven't really got any names out there to throw at the moment because I've not looked at it too in depth. But I think any Kettering fan would say just go and get a number 9 and we can really, really throw ourselves at this, because we're still within a shout. The league is changing so much. And it's the same in the Ishmian, it's the same in the Southern. 3-4 games, you can go on a run and all of a sudden your season's turned around. Liam's first game was a draw against St. Ives, which was 0-0, and by all accounts, it sounded like a much better performance. And we've got 2 massive games against Corn and Spalding coming up. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Kettering over the next couple of weeks, see who comes in, see who leaves. But it's looking a little bit better, and it seems like the fan base are well on side again now, which is always important. Is there anything you want to add at all, Zach, before we start to round off?
I was thinking, need a number 9, which it just wouldn't surprise me if you guys somehow Niall Ranger just came back.
I mean, to be fair, right?
It makes perfect sense with Kettering at the moment.
He's I think he's only scored once at Wellingborough so far, so he may be he's maybe not suited to playing down there, so maybe he needs to come back to Latham Apart. Who knows? I mean, I think his only goal came on Tuesday, I think it was in the County Cup in their game. But I mean, third time's the charm, isn't it, or something like that? So I wouldn't mind it. I mean, he's still 6 goals this season. He's still like joint third top goal scorer in the league, so we'll take it. It's better than what else we've got at the moment. But no, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me, to be fair, if that was to happen. But I think that bridge was a little bit burnt with the director after all the Instagram stuff. Is there anything else at all, matey?
No, I think we've covered it all.
Perfect. I mean, let's call it there then, because Zach, it's been a pleasure, as always, looking through Step 3 football. And the one thing I was going to bring up, actually, Football Manager obviously released this over the last coming weeks or so. Who have you started your save with, and how's that going?
Well, yeah, I've just done a brief save with Hemel up in the National League, struggling a little bit, but it's all good fun.
Oh, that's all good. I mean, I am going to look to download it probably over the weekend, and I am going for Merthyr, and I'm going for Merthyr to glory. There's no doubt about it. But of course, thank you to everyone who has tuned in. Keep subscribing to the YouTube, keep liking, and keep dropping your reviews and everything like that. I've had a couple on private message, which I've acknowledged and I'll take on board. So thank you very much. But until then, we will see you later.